Welcome to Flange Wizard, welder's choice for quality since 1981. All Flange Wizard tools are made in the U.S. Today we want to talk to our valued distributor partners. We have created a counter flange display that will allow you, with a small footprint at your counter, to showcase some of the very popular new tools that Flange Wizard makes, along with some of the existing popular tools. When you get this kit, you're just purchasing the tools, and at no charge, you're getting a steel flange and a steel base for you to place your tools upon. When you open up the box, inside, you have all the tools as part of this display, including the display itself. And you have this image that shows you a picture of how to set up the display. So what I'm going to do is pull these tools out, put them on the table, and then we'll set up the display and just show you something that you can set up at your counter. So when the customers come into the store, they get a chance or an opportunity to explore some of these exciting tools that Flange Wizard manufactures. Okay, now I have the tools out in the packages as they come out of the box so you can see them. So we can just start off here to the left. You're going to see the display setup image, so that just helps you when you're taking the tools out of the container and you want to put it on that counter flange. They give you a catalog, and then I'm going to go to the back left there. You're going to see the flange pins. There's one of the traditional threaded pins that Flange Wizard has sold for years and years and years. Then to the right there, you're going to see the new magnetic flange pins. These are hot. People love these, but you got to show them. So this flange is going to help you do that. The way you tell the difference in your stock between the threaded and the magnetic is really the color, the label on the tube. If you look at the threaded flange pin, it's got a gray background. If you look at the magnetic one to the right, it's got a white background. So that gives you a quick visual. When you're looking in your stock, you know the difference between the two styles of pins that you have. Right in front of it right here is the MSB 202, or the magnetic blocks. These magnetic blocks are designed to put onto any straight edge or square. So now you've got a magnetic cutting guide. So it's just they're very, very popular when people are aware that you have these tools. Now, right there next to it, just to the right, is the Pocket Pro 200. Very famous, very strong level that Flange Wizard makes. Got two of those. To the right, you've got the centering heads, a small centering head and a medium centering head. And just in front of it there, those are the popular tape measure holders. That's a very strong magnet. You got the vial in it too for leveling. But the thing I like about it is how strong the magnet is. When you need that extra hand to hold onto your tape, go on either side of that level. When you take your tape, you could stretch it out across the shop. You'd be surprised how strong that is. And then the top right there, you have probably one of the hottest tools that Flange Wizard makes. It's the MAC, the 38240-MAK. The MAC is a magnetic flange aligner. It is the aligner that ends all aligners. So instead of having multitudes of pins and different size aligners, this one tool can manage just about any flange a welder will come across in the field. It is the ultimate professional flange aligning tool. Then, of course, right in the center at the back there, you have the counter flange. The counter flange becomes just part of that extra salesperson for you. When you're busy at the counter and customers come up, they get a chance to see some of these tools. It's hard to see some of these tools sometimes when they're in the package on the shelf, especially something like the Mac. It sits in that nice case, but it's closed, and people just, they don't get it. So at least when they come in, they can see the tools at the counter. And then the other thing that we added is at the base of that flange, you're going to see some QR codes. Those QR codes, they can come up with their smartphone, scan it, and they'll be able to watch a short video on how these tools work. Plus, they can actually handle the tool itself. That becomes that extra salesperson to help your team in the store when they're busy taking care of customers. So now I'm going to put the tools on the flange and then do a quick walkthrough on some of them. So now I have the flange set up. And what we did, I'm going to start right on top where you see the medium centering head. The medium centering head is resting on these bushings that are behind the flange to give it some thickness. And what that does is it allows you to show how strong the magnetic legs are on the centering head, so the operator can take that and attach it to his pipe and go around the circumference, and that centering head is going to stay. So we start with that on top. Then right below it is the Mac. The Mac is the hottest tool. Whenever we have an opportunity to show that at a show or event, welders go crazy over that versus the traditional two-holing style that they would have to do in the past. Whether it's a traditional flange aligner or the pins and level, the Mac is the ultimate. It'll handle any flange that they run across. It comes with, and I have a kit open to the right there on the table, because you get two kits with this display, and it shows that you have two sets of cones. That allows you again to accommodate any flange you're going to run across. Plus the fact that you have this axis right here that allows you to slide those cones in and out to match up to the holes when you're two-holing. I'm going to attach a short video on some of these tools also during this presentation.
I'd like to show you our new magnetic flange aligner. We have a built-in 90-pound mag switch which you can turn off and on, with your 1.5" centering cones on here right now, which will squeeze down to a 2.5" bolt hole, all the way up to a 9 3/4" spread on your bolt holes. So you walk up to your flange here, you have your centering cones for your bolt hole. You have it loose at the moment. Go ahead and get the cones in the bolt hole, and one click and you're locked onto the face of the flange, and you're ready to two-hole that particular flange. Once you're in the holes, go ahead, you can lock these down. You're all set. You have your horizontal vial that will two-hole your top two holes horizontally to the ground, and you have your other vial that will plumb up the face of that flange. And I'll tell you what, guys, it doesn't get much faster than that. As you can see, you turn it on up to your bolt hole, and one push and you're on. There's no more threaded nuts to contend with like the old school aligners. There's no more threads to gall up, and it really doesn't matter the thickness of your flange, because you're just locking in on the face of that flange into your bolt holes. Now we have some larger centering cones. If you're working with bigger flanges, you can just screw the 1.5" cones off and go ahead and screw on your 2" for your bigger bolt hole sizes. We also put you in here a piece of all thread, as you can see, just in case you come across some stainless steel flanges where the magnet won't work. You can go ahead and kind of go old school on us here. You can just go ahead and thread this all thread in there and lock your tool onto the face of the flange.
Just below it, I have the magnetic pins. So instead of threading pins on for two-holing, you just pull them apart and put them together because they're magnetic. These are, again, something that needs to be shown, and once we show them to a user, they go crazy over them, and they want to buy them. So I'm going to show you a quick video on that too.
Today I'd like to show you our new magnetic series of two-hole pins. In my hand is our mini series, and it's as simple as this. Boom, pull it apart. Walk up to your bolt hole on your flange, click, and you're locked onto the face of the flange. This particular mini will go up to a flange 7/8 thick. After that, we have our standard 1.5" series two-hole pin here, and it will go up to an 1 3/8 thick. Then we step up to our biggest of the magnetic pins, is our 2" series, and this particular pin will go up to 2 3/4" thick. And after that, we went ahead and made an extension for you. This extension will slide over the existing pin, a little turn of your Allen key, and now you're up to 3.5" thick flanges. There's also a reference chart that we give you in our catalog and online that makes it simple and easy to decide which particular pin will work best for you.
So at the bottom here, we've got the mini magnetic pins, and resting on that is the Pocket Pro, the very strong magnetic professional level that Flange Wizard makes. And what the nice thing about this display is people are going to be surprised at the strength of the magnets that are used throughout these tools. Off to the side here, I have the traditional pins that have been around for many years, very popular with Flange Wizard. I like to take it out, at least put it next to the display, just so people can play with them and see what they're like. Number one, you've got a level right here that will level the face of your flange. And then what they'll do is they'll rest a level across the two pins for two holing, just like you see here. But the main thing that I like to show people too is the threads. They're a double lead thread. They're very fast, but also besides speed, versus an Acme thread that a lot of pins are made out of, this type of threading here is going to give you a lot better grip onto the flange. And it's still one of the biggest sellers that Flange Wizard has, so you know that's an item that you should be carrying every day anyway. Then on the front here of the flange, you got these two tools right here. This one right here is the magnetic blocks, the MSB 202 that comes with the display. It is designed to attach to any square or straight edge, and it's switchable and it's very strong. Now you have a burning guide where you can move the blocks along the length of your square or straight edge and put them where you need to for the job that you're doing. The other tool on there is the magnetic tape measure holder. This particular tool has a very strong magnet. You can see the level over off to the side there. Also, you got a strong magnet on this side, very strong. You can walk away. You can put the front of your tape on here, have that hold on to the tape, and walk a long ways. And it's going to hold. You're going to be surprised at how strong this is. You can go in either direction with it. Very popular tool. Flange Wizard has made it a permanent part of their line, and we include it on this display.